Sarah, imagine this scenario. You are in a new city. Maybe it is London or New York, or maybe just a city where English is the common language. You are standing on a busy street corner. You need to find the train station. You have practiced your question in your head 10 times. You are ready. You take a deep breath, you walk up to a stranger, and you say, "Excuse me, where is the train station?" You say it perfectly. Your pronunciation is great. You feel brave. You feel confident. But then the stranger answers. Oh, Mark, I know exactly what happens next. The stranger doesn't know you are a learner. They don't know you need time. So they say something like, "Yeah, mate, just hang a left at the dodgy bank. Go down the tube and it's right past the construction work. You can't miss it." And just like that, your confidence is destroyed. You understood the word left, but the rest was just noise. Exactly. It is a panic moment. Your heart starts beating fast, your face gets hot, you feel stupid, you just nod and smile and say thank you, and then you walk away in the wrong direction because you didn't understand anything. This is the most common pain for English learners. We focus so much on speaking. We focus on how to ask the question, but we forget that a conversation is a two-way street. When you ask a question, you have to be ready for the answer, and real answers are fast. Real answers are messy. That is why today we are not just teaching you phrases, we are giving you a survival kit. We are going to give you 3 specific tools, 3 strategies that you can use when you do not understand. These tools will stop the panic, they will help you control the conversation, and most importantly, they will keep you speaking in English instead of running away. I love that, a survival kit, because it really does feel like survival sometimes. So to everyone listening, welcome to Talk About It in English. If you want to feel comfortable in real conversations, not just in a classroom, make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. We build the English you need for your real life. Today, we are fixing that panic moment. Let's start with the reality of the situation. Why do we panic? It is usually because we feel like we have failed. We think, if I were good at English, I would understand this. But that is not true. Even native speakers misunderstand each other. The difference is that native speakers know how to manage the breakdown. They have phrases to fix it. Learners often just freeze. Right, so the goal today isn't to suddenly understand every word in the English language. That takes years. The goal today is to learn how to pause the conversation, slow it down, and get the information you need without feeling embarrassed. Let's open the survival kit and look at tool number 1. We call this the speed controller. Mark, when someone speaks too fast, what do most learners say? They usually say, "Repeat please," or just "What?" Exactly. And what is the problem with "repeat please"? Well, if I say "repeat please" to you, you will usually just say the exact same sentence at the exact same speed, but maybe a little louder. It doesn't solve the problem. The problem isn't the volume. The problem is the speed. Precisely. Saying "repeat please" tells the other person you didn't hear them. It doesn't tell them you need them to change how they are speaking. So we need a phrase that's polite but firm. We need a phrase that controls the speed. The phrase is, "Could you speak a little slower, please?" That sounds simple, but the magic is in the intonation. If you say it like a robot, it sounds rude. If you say "speak slower," it sounds like a command. You need to use the word "could" to make it soft. Let's break that down. This is our first shadowing practice of the day. Listeners, I want you to say this out loud. Do not just listen. You need to build the muscle memory. The first part is "could you." Note how the sounds connect. Could you? Sarah, let's hear that natural flow. Could you? Could you? Now, let's add the request. Speak a little slower. Notice the rhythm. Speak a little slower. Speak a little slower. Now, let's put it together with the polite ending. Could you speak a little slower, please? Listen to my voice. It goes up at the end. It's friendly. It's not aggressive. Could you speak a little slower, please? Mark, I want you to try it. Imagine I just gave you incredibly fast directions. I want you to stop me. Okay. Wow, that was fast. Could you speak a little slower, please? Perfect. It feels different than "repeat please," doesn't it? It feels like you are taking care of yourself. You are advocating for your own needs. It does. It feels like I am telling you exactly how to help me. And honestly, most native speakers are happy to help. They don't realize they are speaking fast. When you use this phrase, they usually relax and say, "Oh, of course," and then they speak clearly. Exactly. You are helping them help you. Now, let's practice a variation. Sometimes you don't need the whole sentence slower. Sometimes you just completely missed what they said. Maybe a bus drove by. Maybe they mumbled. In this case, we need a phrase that's apologetic slightly, but asks for a restart. A great one is, "Sorry, I didn't catch that."
I love that one. I didn't catch that. It is very natural. It sounds much better than "I don't understand." If you say "I don't understand," it sounds like you don't know English. If you say "I didn't catch that," it just means you missed the words this one time. It protects your confidence. Let's shadow that one. It is very useful for phone calls too. Ready? I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Okay, listener, your turn. I am going to say something very fast. I want you to wait for me to finish and then immediately say, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Ready? Here goes. "Hey, you need to file the TPS report by noon or the boss is going to flip out. Go." Did you say it? Did you feel natural? That phrase is your shield. Use it whenever you need a second chance. Okay, Sarah, so we have the speed controller. We can slow people down. But what happens if they speak slowly, but they use a word we simply do not know? That brings us to tool number 2. This is my favorite tool. It is called the echo technique. This is a psychological trick that makes you sound fluent even when you are confused. Tell us how it works. Okay, imagine you ask someone where the bank is, and they say, "It is just past the pharmacy on the right." Now, imagine you know the word bank and you know right, but you have never heard the word pharmacy before. If you panic, you lose everything. But with the echo technique, you take the word you didn't understand and you repeat it as a question. So in this case, I would simply look at them and say, "Pharmacy?" Exactly. You just echo the keyword, "Pharmacy?" And this triggers a natural reaction in the other person. When you repeat a word as a question, the human brain automatically wants to explain that word. So if I say, "Pharmacy?" they might reply, "Oh, the drugstore," or "the shop where you buy medicine." Yes, they will switch to simpler vocabulary. They will give you a definition, and you didn't have to say, "I am sorry, my vocabulary is limited. What does pharmacy mean?" You just said one word. It keeps the conversation flowing fast. This is brilliant because it also buys you time. While they are explaining the word, your brain has 5 or 10 seconds to relax and process the rest of the sentence. Exactly. It turns a monologue into a dialogue. Let's practice this. I am going to give you a sentence with a difficult word. I want you, the listener, to find the difficult word and echo it back to me with a questioning intonation. Your voice needs to go up at the end, like this. "Pharmacy?" Okay, let's try it. Here is the situation. You are at a restaurant. The waiter says to you, "The soup of the day is a roasted butternut squash bisque." Okay, listener, that was a lot of words. But what was the main food word? Squash? Bisque? Let's try echoing the last word. Say, "Bisque? Bisque?" And the waiter will say, "Oh, it's a thick, creamy soup." And now you understand. You didn't need to know the word bisque. You just needed to use the echo. Let's try another one. You are at a hotel. The receptionist says, "You need to pay a deposit for the incidental charges." That is a tough one. Incidental charges. Listener, try echoing that. Incidental charges? And the receptionist says, "Oh, just for things like the minibar or room service. If you don't use them, you get the money back." See, you solved the problem without a dictionary. You solved it by communicating. The echo technique works for names too. If someone introduces themselves and mumbles, "Hi, I'm Murflubbub," don't just nod. Echo it. "Murflubbub?" And they will say, "Oh, sorry, Mark. My name is Mark." It is about not accepting confusion. It is about being active. If you don't understand, you push back gently with an echo. Okay, so we have the speed controller to slow them down. We have the echo technique to get definitions of new words. What is the third tool in our survival kit? Tool number 3 is the verification check. This is for when you think you understood, but you are not 100% sure.
Or maybe the information was complicated, with lots of turns or numbers. You need to confirm it before you walk away. This is crucial. There is nothing worse than walking away, walking for 10 minutes, and realizing you are in the wrong place. Right, so the verification check uses a specific sentence pattern. The pattern is, "So you mean," or "just to check." I use "just to check" all the time. It is very polite. It signals that I am being careful, not that I am stupid. Exactly. It makes you sound professional. Let's practice 2 phrases here. The first one is for confirming a location or a fact. "So you mean..." Let's shadow that. "So you mean..." "So you mean..." And then you add your understanding. For example, "So you mean it is next to the bank?" "So you mean it is next to the bank?" And the other person will either say yes or they will correct you. "No, not next to the bank, across from the bank." And boom, you just saved yourself from getting lost. The second phrase is for checking a sequence of actions. Let's say someone explains how to buy a ticket from a machine. First touch the screen, then select Zone 1, then pay with card. That is a lot to remember, so you use "just to check." I need to... Let's shadow that one. It is very powerful. "Just to check. Just to check. Just to check. I need to..."
Just to check, I need to select Zone 1. This gives the other person a chance to validate you, and it solidifies the English in your own head. When you repeat the instructions back, you remember them better. So, Sarah, let's put this all together. We have 3 tools. We are going to do a simulation. We call this the boss fight. I love a boss fight. Listeners, are you ready? I am going to act. I am going to play a character who is difficult to understand. I might be fast, I might use weird words. Mark is going to be your coach. He will pause the conversation and ask you which tool to use. This is active practice. Don't just sit there. Speak to your screen. Speak to your phone. Let's go. Scenario 1. You are at the train station. You want to know which platform the train to the airport leaves from. You ask me, "Excuse me, which platform for the airport?" And I say, "Oh, the airport run? Yeah, that's usually platform 4, but it's delayed, so they've shunted it over to 9, but you gotta hurry because the doors are closing." Whoa, pause. That was incredibly fast and a lot of information. Platform 4, platform 9, delayed? Listener, you are panicked. Which tool do you use? Do you echo shunted? Maybe, but honestly, she spoke way too fast. We need to slow her down first. Correct. We need the speed controller. Come on, listener, say the phrase. Ask her to speak slower. Did you say it? Did you say, "Could you speak a little slower, please?" Okay, Sarah, try again. The listener has asked you to slow down. "Oh, sorry. I said the train is usually on platform 4, but today it is on platform 9. You need to hurry." Okay, much better. But wait, platform 9. We want to be absolutely sure, because we do not want to miss our flight. Listener, which tool do we use to confirm the details? We need tool number 3, the verification check. Use the phrase, "So you mean." Say it now. "So you mean it is on platform 9? Yes, that's right, platform 9. Great job. You survived. You got the info. You are on the train. Let's try a harder one. Scenario 2. You are at a coffee shop. It is noisy. The espresso machine is loud. You order a black coffee, but the barista asks you a question. Room for milk? Pause. That was short, but weird. Room for milk? What does that mean? It is not a full sentence. It is slang. If you translate it literally, "Do you have a room for milk?" it makes no sense. This is a perfect time for tool number 2, the echo technique. You heard the word milk, but you don't understand the context. Echo the phrase back as a question. Listener, say it. Room for milk? Room for milk? Yeah, do you want me to leave some space at the top of the cup so you can add milk? Aha, now we understand. Room means space. She is asking if we want a full cup or a cup with space. So now you can answer. Oh, no thank you. Black is fine. See how easy that was? You didn't panic. You didn't say, "I don't understand grammar." You just echoed. Let's do one more. This is the hardest one. A job interview context, or maybe a formal meeting. You are nervous. The interviewer looks at you and says, "We are looking for someone who can really spearhead the new marketing initiative." Pause. Spearhead. That is a violent word. A spear is a weapon. What does she mean? You can't just ignore it. It sounds important. You need to know what your job is. Echo it.
Listener, echo the difficult word. Spearhead? Yes, spearhead. You know, lead the project, be the main person in charge. Fantastic. Spearhead means lead. You just learned a new vocabulary word in the middle of a conversation. That is how fluency happens. It doesn't happen by studying lists alone at home. It happens by negotiating meaning with other people. Sarah, this is so empowering. When I was learning Spanish, I used to just smile and nod when I didn't understand, and I ended up agreeing to things I didn't want. I once agreed to buy a very expensive insurance policy because I was too scared to say I didn't catch that. We have all been there. The smile and nod is the enemy of progress. The smile and nod keeps you safe in the moment, but it keeps you stuck at the same level forever. Using these tools, the speed controller, the echo, the verification check, is scary the first time. It takes courage to admit you didn't hear, but every time you do it, you win. You win the information, you win the respect of the other person, and you win a little bit more confidence. So here is your mission for this week. We are not just listening today, we are doing. I want you to take one of these tools and use it. If you are in an English-speaking country, use it with a stranger. Ask a question, and when they answer, use a verification check. Even if you understood them perfectly, just practice the phrase. Ask a clerk, where are the apples? They say aisle 4. You say, so you mean the aisle next to the bakery? Just to practice the structure. If you are not in an English-speaking country, you can still do this. I want you to go to YouTube, find a video in English that is a little bit too fast for you, maybe a news report. Watch it, and when you hear a word you don't know, pause the video and use the echo technique. Say the word out loud with a questioning voice. Inflation? Infrastructure? Train your mouth to make that shape.
That is excellent advice. Train your reflex. You want these phrases to be automatic. When the panic hits, you don't have time to think about grammar. You need to reach into your survival kit and pull out, "Could you speak a little slower, please?" without thinking. Exactly. And remember, the people you are talking to want to communicate with you. They are not judging you. They are just talking. If you help them understand what you need, they will help you. We hope this episode makes you feel a little lighter. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be prepared. If you found this survival kit useful, please hit that like button. It helps us know that this is the kind of lesson that helps you. And share this with a friend who is learning English. Maybe practice these role plays together. One person speaks fast, the other person uses the tools. And don't forget to subscribe. Next week, we are going to talk about another tricky situation, how to make small talk when you have nothing to say. You don't want to miss that. Until then, keep talking. And remember, when you don't understand, don't run away. Slow it down, echo it back, and check it twice. See you in the next video. Bye.